5-year-old Lucky has been in a fight and come out second best. Owner Stephen is worried that after 2 days, Lucky is getting much worse.
So there's the bigger one there, and then he's got a matching one here. But they're very tender to touch as well. So that kind of looked to me like it could have been a dog or another big cat.
Either Lucky has invented a new fighting move involving a back kick of some description.
Kung Fu cat.
Or the more likely scenario is that Lucky was running away at the time.
I think that's probably
which doesn't paint a bright picture in terms of Lucky's A, fighting ability, or B, bravery.
But when Chris shaves the affected area, he quickly discovers Lucky's wounds are much more serious than he expected.
Sorry, buddy. I can see why he's sore.
Yeah.
Now that we've shaved the area, we can see that it's not a dog bite, it looks like cat claws. I think a cat has actually come in from behind and gone whack. The thing about a cat getting into a fight is the wounds are often the least of your concerns. What is the biggest worry is actually the infection that follows it, because those claws actually inject bacteria, and those bacteria, once they're under the skin, breed prolifically. Essentially, Lucky's whole body is becoming toxic. There's actually a pocket underneath there. I'll inject in there.
At Bondi, Lucky's fighting a serious infection contracted after a street fight with another cat.
It can be very serious. It can set up infections in the lungs or even the other organs. It needs to be treated right now.
Saline is being used to flush the bacteria out of Lucky's wounds.
Yeah, it's the price you pay for being Mr. Tuffy.
There is pus now dripping out of this one here, so... I'll give him a shot of antibiotics now, and also an anti-inflammatory just to make him feel better and try to take out some of that swelling as well. Okay.
Turns out Lucky's owner Stephen has also been in plenty of hospitals.
2002 I was diagnosed with a large inoperable malignant brain tumour. And he was kind of a gift to me from a breeder. And she said, I'll give you this one. I said, I don't know what to call him. Because I'd just survived my radiotherapy, and that's why he's called Lucky.
Wow. You're important, you know.
Sure is. You big camera hog.
It's an amazing story, and when you understand the history of Stephen's brain tumour and how he came to have Lucky, you realise that this is a very tight bond. The two of them mean the world to each other. And for Lucky even to be slightly off worries Stephen. Champion, do you think, Lucky? By points decision? I think there'd be some sort of inquiry if you were actually to be awarded that fight, Lucky.
Lucky should fully recover within a week. Hopefully there'll be no rematch with his nemesis.
So you say thank you, Dr. Chris.
Thank you, Lucky.
Yeah, good boy.
This big dog has just come and taken a massive grip around the top of his chest and has literally torn the skin open. It's just awful.
8-month-old Scruffy has just been mauled by a pit bull terrier.
He was just shaking him like a rag doll.
Terrible.
Oh, yeah.
I was screaming and crying. It was terrible.
Lisa places a catheter into Scruffy's leg so she can pump in pain relief and antibiotics.
You are the bravest dog I know.
Bacteria from the pit bull's mouth could start a major infection under Scruffy's skin.
It's just amazing. How did you get him off?
A man come with a screwdriver and pried open his mouth.
Oh my God.
I tried to open his mouth too and I got bitten.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, very scary. Very scary.
So that
But I don't know what we would have done
amazing.
if that guy hadn't have come with a screwdriver.
He would have been dead. He would have been dead.
The next step is to get some x-rays of his chest to make sure that the punctures actually haven't gone right into his chest and in his lungs. Okay, so the chest x-rays actually look pretty normal, which is good. His lungs are nicely inflated, and I can't see any signs of it actually puncturing the chest. So that's good news for Scruffy. So he's had some strong pain relief, so he's going to be a little bit drowsy. And you can give him a cuddle.
Scruffy will need an operation so Lisa can fix his terrible wounds.
Okay. You okay?
But until the little terrier is stable, a general anaesthetic is too big a risk. The next 24 hours will be critical.
I thought he was going to be a bit lifeless, but he's all right.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to look after him. Hopefully get him back to you as soon as we can. Oh, it's not Jack. It's all right, Beck.
Lisa is assessing the extent of Scruffy's shocking wounds.
I've got dogs whimpering all around me and Scruffy hasn't made a peep, and considering what he's been through, what's happened to him tonight, he is one brave little dog. Oh, sweetheart, I know it's a bit ticklish and it's on your sore bits.
I know, come here.
You're a good dog. Clipping this, I'm really starting to see how much trauma he's actually sustained. He's got puncture wounds on the front of his chest, not only that big laceration on the back, but the dog's got him around the front as well, and he's developing some massive bruising around the underside of his neck. Now, I'm not saying that all pit bulls are savage dogs. Obviously, a dog's temperament depends on their upbringing and their environment and their breeding, and I'm sure most pit bulls at home are lovely dogs. The problem is, in this case, that the dog was not controlled. It should have been on a lead and it attacked Scruffy. Now, the worry is that it could attack a child, and that's just not on.
Finally, the painful wound is flushed out with saline to remove any bacteria that could cause a dangerous infection.
Why don't you lie down? I'm not rushing to stitch that wound up immediately because we need to make sure Scruffy's stable before he goes under an anaesthetic. If he goes under an anaesthetic while he's not stable, that could be life-threatening. So we need to hold off until he improves a little bit. You'll go sleepy eyes and you'll wake up and you'll be all stitched.
Brave Scruffy has stabilised enough to go to surgery.
Look at him.
It's amazing.
It's just unbelievable. He is seriously lucky that he hasn't broken his neck. He wouldn't be here with us today if that had been the case. It's just mind-blowing.
Lisa now begins her patch-up job on Scruffy. The skin on his neck has been torn away from the muscles underneath. A drain is being inserted to make sure fluid pockets can't form under the wound.
The drain is going to have to stay in for about 3 days just to allow the fluid to come out, and we've just got to monitor the area for excessive swelling, discharge, any signs of infection, because that's going to be our biggest risk at the moment. Oh, it's awake now. Oh, look at your tongue. Put it back in your mouth. Put it inside. Oh. Oh.
Scruffy will now be put on a long-term course of antibiotics, but Lisa believes there may be much tougher healing issues.
Oh boy. Dogs can really change after something like this. You know, one traumatic experience can be ingrained in their mind forever, and there is a chance that they'll never be the same dog again. Your tongue's still out. You're sticking your tongue out to that pit bull. Hey, saying ha. Have a rest. Rest. No bad. Look, there's no other dogs around.
Pit bull attack victim Scruffy is going home, but the experience is still haunting him.
No, you're so scared. It's all right, darling. Looking at him now, I mean, he seems really nervous, just unsure of everything around him. It's going to be one of those things that time will tell if he'll ever be back to his normal self again. You'll get your confidence back. It's all right, darling. You're a good boy.
Yes, I am angry. I woke up angry. I rang our local council and I reported it. And the ranger, it's in the ranger's hands at the moment. But they have to try and find this man with his dog. So I'm just waiting to hear from the ranger, see what happens.
Good boy. Where's Mum? Where's Mum? Hello.
Hello, my darling.
There you go.
Oh, hello, sweetie. Missed you so much.
He is being like a little soldier, not making a sound, not showing us any signs of pain. Like, he is just so brave. He's honestly, I've never met such a stoic little dog. The whole situation with Scruffy is just, it's really unbelievable. I cannot believe that he survived, and that's what just astounds me, and I just think it's a miracle.
Ready to go home, little man? Hey.
Guzzy's been found playing with a brown snake in his house.
In the house?
In the house.
I heard some form of commotion. I thought, oh, Gussie's caught a lizard or something. There's something going on out in the laundry.
Gussie's horrified owner Ben found the 22-month-old in the laundry, going head-to-head with the deadly reptile.
Tried to grab Gussie and he kind of jumped, but I managed to get him eventually and get him into the other bedroom, locked him in there, got a pillowcase out and tried to get the snake to go into the pillowcase, and its head went in, and then it just wouldn't go all the way in, so I picked up its tail and kind of picked up the case at the same time and put it in, and that was it. In hindsight, I probably won't be doing that again now that I know what kind of snake it was.
Brown snakes are not only one of the most deadliest snakes in the world, but they are super aggressive as well. Was Guzzy bitten, or you're not sure?
We're not sure, just found playing with it, so yeah, naughty cat.
Guzzy, you didn't bring the snake inside, did you?
When I first got in there, I knew that they were facing off, and that was probably my main concern, that Gussie might have been bit somewhere in that tussle.
Okay, just gonna lift him up now. When pets get bitten by a brown snake, they can lose the ability to clot their blood, and they can develop full body paralysis, and they can die. Let's have a look at his gums. His gums are pink. Let's have a listen to his lungs.
First, Gerardo needs to check if Gussie is showing early signs of paralysis.
Oh, he's a little bit stressed being in here. Probably more stressed at home with a brown snake in the house. I've seen some really sad cases of brown snake envenomation where pets had not been brought down to their vet to be checked over because they look normal at home, only to develop clinical signs later and not make it. His heart sounds okay, but he's pretty stressed out. I've just examined Guzzy, and he looks a little bit stressed, but otherwise okay. But right now, it's too early to tell whether he's been envenomated or not. I might pop you in some oxygen, hey? Pop you in some oxygen, let you settle down for a little bit.
Gerardo will have to wait for Gussie to calm down before taking blood samples that will show if his patient has received a lethal dose of venom.
Put your rest in there, mate. Despite the fact that Guzzy looks okay, we need to do some tests to try to rule out the presence of venom. It's not uncommon for pets not to show any signs of paralysis for several hours before quickly deteriorating later. So ready we have one of the test wells, which is the control that tells us the test is going to work. This one here is blue. So now we have to watch the rest of these wells to see whether or not they change color. If this test comes back positive, that means that Guzzy has venom in his bloodstream, and we need to jump into action immediately and give him anti-venom for him to have any chance of survival.
Gerardo should know the results of the test within a few minutes. For Gussie's owner Ben, it's an anxious wait.
Gussie means a fair bit to me. He's pretty special. He's a rescue cat, and yeah, just got a lot of character. And Gussie was proud, like really proud of himself. Like, this is the biggest lizard I've ever caught, Dad, and it's got no legs. How cool is this? Like, it was just, he loved it.
We're less than 2 minutes to go, and so far, there is no color change. Likely he hasn't been envenomated, so fingers crossed. Let's have a look. Woohoo! All clear. Guzzy is one lucky kitty cat.
The negative test result means Gussie has miraculously survived a potentially fatal encounter with a deadly snake.
Hey, Guzzy, got some good news. There's no venom in your bloodstream. Hey, you're a brave soul trying to take on a brown snake. I'm happy to say that you're all good to go home. Here we go, Ben. This is Guzzy. Here we go. He's looking pretty good. He's up, he's about. Looking around normally, which is what we want to see. We have a good ending. Guzzy is a very lucky cat to not be envenomated after going head to head with a brown snake. Do you reckon he's going to learn from this experience?
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, I think it's just spurred him on. He'll be looking for snakes. That was the most entertainment I think he's had. Unfortunately, he just loves them.
Last night we got an email from Paco's owner and it was a picture of Paco with lots of blood coming out his eye. So we were pretty shocked, keen to see him today and check it out. Oh, that eye looks sore. Come on in.
Owner Andrew is anxious about his special mate.
Paco is my great companion. He's a very sweet cat that has really made my life very rich.
So do you know how it happened?
Yeah, I was moving house and there was a new cat that was in the area who was like twice his size, and I thought, ooh, that's not going to be good if they actually meet up. But anyways, when I came back to pick him up, his eye and his ego were both very, very hurt.
Poor Paco. So Paco's one of our regular patients, and he's a loved patient, but he has got a quirky personality. He hates vets. Unfortunately, that means he hates both of us too.
When he was little, he by accident swallowed an elastic of my daughter's.
Oh, wow.
It got stuck in his intestines, and so then he also had to have intestine surgery. Ever since then, you know, even though, I mean, everybody was nice to him and everything like that, his view was as like, ooh, this is the place that cut you open.
That's where he stays. Poor Paco.
He'll be okay.
We'll look after him. Scared. That's not a good sign.
With a potentially painful eye injury, Paco is even grumpier than usual.
So I think probably the blood's come from him rubbing or scratching, but I'm very worried about the actual eye itself. The worst thing that could happen is that there's a massive ulcer or big deep scratch under that third eyelid, which would make us a bit concerned because the eye could rupture.
I just hope there's nothing that they find actually more serious where he might have to lose the eye, but yeah, we'll just have to see.
Okay, so this is fluorescein dye. So we're basically just going to pop that inside the eye.
The dye will show up any ulcers or scratches.
Bright yellow colour. So let's see how we're going to get this in the eye.
Alison will have to aim from outside the box. Paco is far too agitated to try to get any closer.
Oh! I got it.
Oh my
How
goodness.
did you get it in
Wow.
the eye? She got it in the eye. That's pretty good for you because you really have bad aim.
I have really bad ball skills, but obviously fluorescein skills.
And we can just see there, even with that third eyelid halfway across the eye, that there's actually a pinpoint ulcer right in the middle. But what I'm concerned about is whether there's actually more injuries in the eye besides that little pinpoint ulcer. So I think we're probably going to have to bring him to hospital and give him a sedation or general anaesthetic just so we can really open up the eye, pull the third eyelid back. Obviously, if he's scratched his cornea, that's more serious. Poor Paco. Here we go, Paco. Here is Paco.
Back in Sydney, Audrey and Alison have arrived at the hospital with Paco.
We can see an ulcer in the middle of the eye, but we're actually worried there are other ulcers underneath the third eyelid. So often with ulcers, they can actually rupture the eyeball, and that's because it's a weak point that can burst. So we're going to have to give him some sedation and have a look at that eye properly.
Paco got his nasty eye injury in a fight with another cat. The grouchy 4-year-old doesn't like vets, so the girls aren't taking any chances.
Defense mechanisms we brought today, garden gloves for each of us, big fat towel. Right, gowned up, ready to go.
Ready to go.
So I'm gonna open. Go, 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 go. That's good, that's good, that's good, that's good.
Despite his reputation, Paco barely puts up a fight.
So at the moment we're giving Paco some oxygen and we've added in a bit of isoflurane, which is an anaesthetic gas. It's just going to make him quite sleepy so that we can eventually get him sedated to have a look at that eye. Wow, that was a bit easier than we thought. He's still growling at us. He's a bit better, he's growling less. All right, so we're going to move the carrier. Oops.
With Paco finally settled, the girls can now get their first close-up look at his injured eye.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Oh, that conjunctiva is really red.
So you just see that lower conjunctiva.
So I'm just going to give the eye a very good flush.
So there's quite a few things bulging out of the eye at the moment because it's so inflamed. This is the third eyelid.
So the third eyelid is like the windscreen wipers of the eye, and it helps actually clean the surface, get it lubricated with some tears.
Oh, look at all that pus. There's a lot of pus back here. He's actually got a hole in his third eyelid underneath, look.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, how did you do that?
He's ripped the whole underside of his third eyelid. We pull back the third eyelid and we can actually see almost like a hole at the back of it, like a big deep scratch. So I think that's where the bleeding's coming from.
Quite an unusual injury. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. It's quite remarkable to think how another cat's nail
He must have just hooked it under the third eyelid and then pulled.
torn back.
If that nail had gotten anywhere else, so if it had actually hooked into his cornea and pulled through, he could have ruptured his eyeball and potentially have lost that eye. So in a way, it's lucky it caught on the third eyelid and just damaged the underside of that. All right, we'll just turn off the lights. You hold that.
So we're just going to check again with some fluorescein stain and make sure there's not any more ulcers there.
The actual eye itself only has that pinpoint ulcer, which should heal well as long as he doesn't rub or scratch his eye.
Just come around this side, have a look under that third eyelid flap. I think there's something there. Okay, what is that?
All of a sudden, the girls make a shocking discovery.
Oh my goodness. What is that? Right there. There's something poking out.
It's so swollen back here. Look at that. What is that?
Oh my goodness.
I'm just going to pull it now. Oh my. This stick is massive. It turns out it's a 5-centimeter stick that's entered between the eyeball and his third eyelid. That is insane. It's probably one of the weirdest foreign body positions I've ever seen. Poor Paco, no wonder he was so grumpy. If we have a look behind, it's quite swollen, but the entry point's actually avoided his gland behind there, and it's actually avoided his third eye cartilage. So I think that's going to close up quite well. We'll have to monitor it, make sure it heals well, but I'm pretty confident it should seal over and look really good again.
Send Paco home with some eye drops.
Yeah. So it's a bit more comfortable because we've been fiddling around there. So as long as he leaves it alone, he takes the drops in his eyes and Andrew manages to medicate him, he should heal really well. But 3 days' time, we'll come back and check on that.
It's definitely Paco's lucky day. As soon as he's fully awake, he can go home to his relieved owner.
Okay, let's get you home.
Staffy Labrador Cross Jimmy Chew has been rushed in after being in a fight with the neighbour's dog.
Oh, you poor mate. Gosh, he's got bites all over him, hasn't he?
Vets Dr. Alex Hines and Dr. Gerardo Poli immediately begin to assess the extent of Jimmy's bite wounds.
He's got some on his face. Yeah, some on his face.
Yeah.
There's some big ones there, are they?
Yeah, there's a couple of big ones just on the back there and just on the side. Those are big, big teeth from a big dog. And my concern tonight is how far did those teeth go in? Dogs' jaws are incredibly powerful and they can do a lot of damage. In my experience, what we see on the outside is the tip of the iceberg.
7-year-old Jimmy was brought in by Bernadine, whose daughter Frankie was too distraught to bring him in herself.
I ran back into the house and I saw my daughter bend over Jimmy and she was crying and hands full of blood. My daughter has many years of mental illness and Jimmy Chew is her lifeline. Jimmy is everything to her. She's just had a torrid time over the last 2 weeks, so if something happened to Jimmy, that'd be the last straw.
Can't believe he's still walking with all those wounds. And look at him, poor mate, he just looks terrified. Really want to get an IV and give him some fluids because I think at this stage he's in a bit of shock. So the sooner that we stabilise that shock, the happier he's going to be because that'll be several hours of clipping and exploring all of those wounds. You got a long night ahead of you, mate. Hey,
Jimmy Chew. Hi, Jimmy Chew.
An anxious Bernadine is brought in to say goodnight to Jimmy before the Staffy Labrador's injuries can be treated.
Grandma loves you.
I'm going to say good night.
Good boy.
Good boy.
Good boy. Hey, he's a good boy. Grandma loves you. Look after him for me. Thank you. Thank you.
You're going to come out, we're going to fix you up.
On the Gold Coast, Alex and vet nurse Tracy are ready to treat Jimmy Chew. The Staffy Labrador Cross has extensive bite wounds after a run-in with the dog next door.
He's just had a big heavyweight fight. Get you all cleaned up. Bernadine, his owner, has told us that Jimmy actually started the fight. He lives next door to a big dog called Bruce, and they've never got along. But tonight, Jimmy's dug his way under the fence, got into Bruce, and the fight's been on. And now we need to pick up the pieces for Jimmy because he's in a bad way and he's going to need a lot of help tonight. Are you going to go have a little sleep, Jimmy? You ready? There you go. You can go to sleep.
With Jimmy sedated, Alex can now get a better look at the injuries.
You can tell from the puncture wounds just how big these teeth are that went into Jimmy. And what we don't know is what kind of damage is underneath the surface. So tonight, we're actually going to need to explore all of these wounds to find out exactly how much trouble he's really in.
So we've got this one here.
Yep.
There's nothing on this side?
Yeah, there is. There's more down here. He's been chewed from one end to the other. This one here, that's actually the one that I'm most worried about because it's right over the top of his kidney. The other dog that he was in the fight with is a much bigger dog. So if the other dog bit down really hard with those long canine teeth, it may have penetrated into one of those vital organs. So I think we want to obviously clip up all of the wounds, but this might be the one we go looking at first.
Yep.
Look how big that tooth must have been to go all the way down. Oh, look at the bruising. Gosh, he is just black and blue under here. This is just so nasty. We're going to have to clip most of Jimmy's hair off. It's really important that we find all of those wounds. I'm just horrified to think that another dog could do this kind of damage and to think that Jimmy started it.
As they reveal the numerous bites sustained by Jimmy, Alex discovers a very deep and concerning puncture wound.
Wow, look at that. It is starting to look nasty. It looks like it has gone into the abdomen. That makes this much more serious. We would be talking about abdominal surgery. We might even have to remove the kidney if this is as serious as I think it might be. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I think that's our biggest concern. Tooth going into an organ.
On the Gold Coast, vets Alex and Gerardo have discovered alarmingly deep dog bites on Jimmy Chew and need to urgently perform an ultrasound.
So what we can see, he's got pretty good blood supply to his kidneys. So the structure looks okay.
No free fluid.
No, there's no bleeding or fluid around it. Let's have a little look at his liver.
Yeah, because that liver's right next to it, isn't it? So
yeah. And the liver looks okay as well from what we can see here. There's no bleeding that we can see either.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. The ultrasound showed us that the kidney, liver, the organs were all looking really good. We couldn't see any evidence of injury, and that gave us a lot of confidence that maybe Jimmy had got away with it better than we thought.
But now, Alex and vet Dr. Brooke Shampers have to begin the painstaking task of opening up and cleaning each of Jimmy's numerous bite wounds.
Look how big that is.
That's so significant.
That's a huge pocket, isn't it?
So much dead space.
I think where he's bitten him
and then shaken and pulled all that skin off, the
pulled it
muscle.
off. There's a huge dead space under there. So I think what we're going to need to do is actually get in there, clean all that out, and then we'll work our way around all of the bite wounds. All right, let's do it. Poor Jimmy, he's come in here with these bite wounds all over him, and we're actually going to make these wounds even bigger. We have to open them right up to get inside and clean everything out, because there'll be hair, there'll be dirt, there'll be dead tissue down there. If we leave any of those wounds untreated, it could set up a nasty infection and he could be in hospital for a lot longer. Hello, mate. You feeling better? You look a bit brighter than the last time I saw you. Hey?
On the Gold Coast, Jimmy Chew is slowly recovering after a lengthy operation to treat his extensive wounds following a vicious dog fight.
We've finished the surgery and Jimmy has more than 100 stitches, but this could have been so much worse. If this had been abdominal surgery, he would have been in here for up to a week. At least now he's on the road to recovery. Are we going to go for a bit of a wander? What do you think? Come on, you can do it. Good boy. I think your mum's going to be very happy when she sees you. Good boy, Jimmy. This way, this way, this way.
To help Jimmy's recovery, Alex arranges a surprise for him.
Hey, Jim. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. I've got something special here for you.
Hello, boy. Oh, hello. Hello, gorgeous. Oh, Jimmy. Hey, how are you? Oh, darling, you're a big nut, boy. Hey, how are you? Hey, good boy, Jim. Good boy. Here, come and sit with Grandma. Come and sit with Grandma. When I first saw Jim, my heart sunk. Oh, God, Alex.
I know. It's a bit of a shock.
I'm quite shocked to see the extent of Jim's wounds. I knew that they would be bad, but I didn't know that they would be so large. Good boy, darling.
But he's such a lucky dog. It could have been much
absolutely.
worse.
Yes, it could have been.
The good news is that these will heal.
Yes,
This is just the skin. So we'll give him another day.
Thank you.
Keep his pain relief up.
Thank you.
What we want to really see is that we want him to be eating a little bit, feeling a little bit happier.
Yeah.
He'll be much happier when he's at home.
Yes.
So fingers crossed we can do that tomorrow.
But your mum will come and see you tomorrow, sweetheart. Hey, this is my daughter's dog. Frankie was quite anxious just to know how much trauma Jimmy did go through. So I had to come and see Jim. At home, they are both inseparable, and to have them separated is a little bit sad. Good boy, Jim.
Jimmy really is the light of Frankie's life. So she relies on him. It's really important that we get him home, back to her. Hello, Jimmy. Hello, mate.
It's been 2 days since the badly bitten Staffy Labrador cross was brought into the Animal Emergency Service on the Gold Coast.
Hey, still so sad.
A vicious fight with neighbouring dog Bruce left Jimmy Chew with over 100 stitches from tip to tail.
I know something that will cheer you up. Let's get you home.
The 7-year-old has now recovered enough to be reunited with his loving owners, Bernadine and her daughter Frankie.
Okay, we've got to go up this way.
I've had Jimmy since he was 8 weeks old. He was a present to me, and he's been absolutely the best thing for me. I can't wait to get Jimmy home, Mum. I suffer mental illness, and he's been with me the whole time through the worst. I wouldn't be here if Jimmy wasn't here.
Hello, mate. Hello.
It's your mum.
I think you gave a little smile there. When I see how much Jimmy means to his family, thank goodness, because it could have been so much worse. You must be so happy to see your boy.
I am, thank you.
If we hadn't been able to get Jimmy home to his family, then, gosh, I don't even know how they would have dealt with that.
Look at all your stitches, mate. You got too many. Hey. Oh, I love you too.
Thank you so very much, because my family's back together. And you can see the love between Frank and Jim. It's a very, very special bond. And I thank you so very much for looking after Jimmy and Frankie.
Oh, he just means the world to you guys. I can see that.
Yeah.
It's great to see Jimmy go home today.
Come on, mate. Let's go.
He's still got some healing to do, but I think being at home, getting that special TLC from his mum and his grandma, that is going to make all the difference for him. You stay out of trouble, my friend. Hey? And I'm sure he's going to have a few words to Bruce through the fence. He didn't get him this time.
See you now. See you, Alex. Go for it, Jim.
Come on.
This owner's just brought in this cat. His face is swollen. She's brought in a brown snake as well. There's puncture wounds all over the snake.
At the Bondi Referral Hospital SASH, 4-year-old Nemo has been rushed in after being attacked by a snake.
His little heart's racing. Brown snakes are probably one of the most dangerous snakes in Australia. They cause paralysis, they cause internal bleeding. They really are a very venomous snake. That face is really, really swollen. He's definitely been bitten. I think the fact that he's alive is actually quite lucky, because with the brown snake, they kill within 30 minutes.
Owner Jenny and her daughter Ellie managed to catch the badly injured snake.
It's quite freaky putting the She did all the hard work, putting my daughter's life on the line, putting the snake in a box.
I've never seen a brown snake with a tail like that.
So thin at the end.
So tiny.
You know, Jenny says that this is a brown snake, but I'm not 100% convinced. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get a second opinion.
Nemo's attacker must be correctly identified so the right treatment can be given.
So if I just pick him up behind the head with these?
Yeah, just
happy
you
with
and
that?
me, we're the real snake lovers here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's just... All right, Vic, hold his head up.
Oh, the tongue came out. How's that for profile?
That's great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give Tim, our snake expert, a call and show him a picture of the snake and see if he can solve this mystery for us. If it is a brown snake, we have to get antivenin into Nemo as soon as we can, because if we wait, that could threaten his life. His tail goes like right, you know, skinny down to nothing.
At SASH, Lisa's calling snake expert Tim Faulkner from the Australian Reptile Park.
He's got like a white little spot in the front bit of his eye.
He's been sent a photo of the snake that attacked Nemo, and Lisa's hoping he can identify it.
You know I'm not very good with snakes, Tim. What do you think?
In reception, owners Jenny and Ali are waiting anxiously for the answer to that question.
I don't want to hear bad news. These cats are very much a part of the family, aren't they?
If it is a deadly brown snake, then Nemo's brother Oscar could be about to lose his best mate.
Yeah, there's definitely white markings on his face. Okay, Tim. Awesome. Thank you so much for your help. It's a whip snake, so whip snakes are not as venomous as brown snakes. Pop you on a drip, buddy. There's no antivenin for the whip snake. It does cause a local reaction, which is pretty uncomfortable. We do have to support him, put him on a drip, give him some anti-inflammatories and an antihistamine. Tiny stings. Okay. It's turning.
Says, I don't like noodles.
He's had fangs in his face and he's jumping off the table with me giving him 2 small injections. I think he's had 1 prick too many today. In you go.
While Nemo's treatment takes effect, Lisa turns her attention to the perpetrator.
Nemo has had a good go at this little one. As a vet, it's our duty to treat all animals and to treat all wildlife, and this little snake, he's actually been injured as well. He's a patient too, so now we actually have to assess the snake. I think it's worthwhile taking an x-ray of him and see if there's anything that we can fix. It looks here like he's got a dislocated spine. The kindest thing to do is to put him to sleep. So Nemo's around here. So you can give him a cuddle.
Hey, Nemo.
Fortunately, Nemo is going to survive.
We'll come back and get you tomorrow, okay? Best possible outcome, although I'm sure that Nemo is going to be not very happy spending the night away from home. He's the biggest baby, isn't he?
Yes. Are you talking today? Are you talking today? Hi, beautiful boy.
It's been 24 hours since Nemo was attacked by a whip snake.
Nemo is so much better today. He's got over this nice and quickly. Yeah, he's done really, really well. He's very lucky that it wasn't a brown snake. Good boy, Nemo.
It's quite tense yesterday. Miss Brave here, who said that she would be okay when we got home, was she wouldn't leave the other cat alone.
Yeah, I missed him.
There he is. You can grab him out and give him a cuddle.
Look at your leg. Look at your legs.
He looks so much better, doesn't he?
Yeah.
This is really lucky for Nemo because he came in with the suspected brown snake bite, went home 24 hours later just with some swelling on his face from a whip snake. Could have been a lot worse. See you later.
Thanks.
No more snakes, little one. Hey, we don't want to see you again here.
Say bye-bye.
Take care.